Hare Krishna, everybody. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can.
Yeah, go ahead, Nitya.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana Anjana Salakaye Sakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tatati Swapadadikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunatham Vidam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sadagana Lalita Sri Visaham Vidamsa He Krishna Karuna Kitindo Dinadan Bando Jagatpate Gopika Gopika Kanta Radha Krishna Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hare Priye Panchakalpatarupasya sa kripa sindhu Vaya eva sa patitanam pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Viranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So we will today cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, from verse number 14 onwards. We will aim to come to verse number 17. Again, it's a heavy discussion, same as last time. First, my inquiry, is the class space okay for all? I know the first class when we started Canto 3 was a little fast paced, but please let me know if the class space is okay for everyone.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
It's okay, Prabhu.
Okay. So similar to last class, today also we will discuss practical aspects. Before we begin, let's you all begin with a quick recap where you will explain one or more points from before, as well as ask one or more questions from before. Do quickly because we have a lot to cover today.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Because of ineffective chanting of the Maha Mantra, offenses happen. So always we must improve the quality of chanting. Do not offend Krishna's devotees. See good qualities in others and always maintain good devotee association, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. A lot of key points in one statement. Yes, it is the inattentive chanting, the cause of offenses. Okay, very good. What else? Somebody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in the verses that we read, when Lord Krishna went as a peace messenger on behalf of the Pandavas to the assembly of Dhritarashtra, his words that he spoke sounded like nectar to the pious devotees like Bhishma and Dronacharya, where it wasn't so for Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. So it only goes to say that one can taste the sweetness of the nectar if they are healthy. If they're not healthy, they cannot taste it. A devotee can accept and will, understand all the instructions of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee will not be able to.
Okay, very good. Only a devotee can understand the words of the Lord as nectar. Very good.
Dhritarashtra was physically as well as spiritually blind. Commits inauspicious activities supporting his dishonest sons. Greater blindness than physical blindness.
Okay, very good. That Dhritarashtra specifically and other Kauravas also, they were spiritually blind. Dhritarashtra was physically also blind, but more so was spiritually blind. Therefore, Dhritarashtra was giving shelter to his son who is against Krishna, therefore was the cause of all inauspiciousness. Okay, very good.
Here Vidura says someone is against Krishna. That is apatya, like, is not, he won't be able to protect the father.
Yeah, very good. Somebody
Yeah.
against Krishna, a son. How is he going to protect the father? Because son is supposed to make sacrifices. But if you are against Krishna or Vishnu, how are you going to do sacrifices? Therefore, a son will not be able to protect the father. Okay, very good. Ask questions also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You had asked one more question. What are the reasons, Vidura gives for returning the legitimate share to the Pandavas, Prabhu? So for that, the main reason he gives is, one is that Krishna was their cousin and he's the supreme personality of Godhead who's supporting. So that's one major. So fighting with the Pandavas is full of dangers. And the second one is, like, Supreme Personality is trying to talk about the greatness of the Supreme Personality, that in his childhood he has, conquered demons and demigods. So, what to speak about his support.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Anybody has any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Radha Shakti, a little louder.
Yeah, Prabhuji, in the last
Your voice
class,
is very soft. We can barely hear you.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Prabhuji?
Okay, now it's better.
Okay. In the last class, you mentioned that if someone gives us a hard time, we should not take it as an offense. Instead, we should ignore that. And we even don't need to forgive that person. We can only forgive that person if we take that thing as an offense. But if we do not take any like bad any bad activity of other person as an offense, then we don't even need to forgive. So we just need to ignore it. And you also mentioned that how is devotee supposed to live when suffering comes. So then you mentioned, referred Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8, that patiently tolerating the suffering of past deeds. That's how a devotee is supposed to live when any suffering comes. And you also mentioned that one who identifies perpetrator is himself is a perpetrator.
Okay, very good points, the practical points. So just want to clarify what Radha Shakti just mentioned. It's not that you don't forgive. Yes, you will forgive, but you are not holding anything and you are not taking it as an offense, so that the devotee who is doing something wrong is not impacted. And this is going to be further discussed today with some heavy discussion on this point as well. Okay, very good. Any last points?
Vidura is the main, who played the main role, a good counsel both politically as well as morally. Advised Dhritarashtra to retain the return the legitimate share to Yudhishthira. Vidura gave advice to Dhritarashtra to have political alliance with Pandavas. Fighting the Pandavas, one will encounter many dangers because supported by Lord Krishna, the conqueror of transcendental power.
Okay, very good. That the fighting with Pandavas is fraught with dangers because the universal power, Lord Shri Krishna, is behind them, is with them. Okay, very good. Okay. So we'll continue from verse number 14 onwards. And as I explained that today also we'll have a heavy conversation and some practical discussions in the verses that we are going to cover today. So the context is that as Vidura was giving good advice to Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan walks into this meeting and hears what Vidura is saying. And Duryodhan's mind is revealed in verse number 14. Radha Shakti, if you want to read verse number 14, translation and the purport.
Sure, Prabhuji. Number 14. While speaking, thus Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhan, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhan was in company with Karan, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni. Purport. It is said that giving good counsel to a foolish person causes the fool to become angry, just as feeding milk to a snake only increases its venomous poison. Saint Vidura was so honorable that his character was looked up to by all respectable persons. But Duryodhan was so foolish that he dared to insult Vidura. This was due to his bad association with Shakuni, his maternal uncle, as well as with his friend Karan, who always encouraged Duryodhan in his nefarious acts.
So Duryodhan was always in bad company of Dusashan, Shakuni, Karn. Therefore, one of the important points from this verse is that we need to associate with like-minded devotees. Everybody at the temple is a devotee. Everybody is a devotee. But we have to associate with devotees who help us grow forward on our devotional path, and other devotees, we can just say Hare Krishna and move on. Therefore, I have mentioned to many that when you are coming for services, don't just randomly go for services. Always do services with among us from the Bhakti-Vix devotees, so that we all have the same mindset and we learn the same scriptures and we try to follow the same rules and regulations, and we try to help each other rather than pulling down anybody. Other devotees you may encounter, and we'll discuss today as part of that. Therefore, association is very important, which is also covered in Nectar of Instruction in both text number 2 and text number 3. Nectar of Instruction text number 2 describes 6 activities that are harmful for bhakti. In there also association is described, meaning drop the association of materialistic people. And then text number 3, Nectar of Instruction, describes 6 activities that are favorable for bhakti. In there, association is again described. Why it is repeated is because it's a very, very important point. So the state of Duryodhan is explained that Duryodhan was burning in anger. Obviously, Duryodhan did not like Vidura's comments. In the purport, the very first line, Srila Prabhupada says, giving good counsel to foolish person will make such a foolish person even more angry. So I have a question for you all. What did you learn from this verse? Specifically, the very first line in the purport.
Do not give advice to foolish people.
Okay, very good. Okay. Somebody else? What else? What did you learn from this verse? You are all preachers. What did you learn? Quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The person is already full of so much of ego, so he has no inclination towards listening to anything good. So better not to say anything.
So this applies to all of us. We are all preachers. That I have to become better to make my words have impact. When we talk to someone about Krishna consciousness, we all know we are talking good. But without understanding the other person's situation, meaning whether the soil is fertile or not, and if we try to put the seed, it is not going to help. Then if the other person becomes angry, when we try to give him some good Krishna conscious advice, then we cannot afford to lose our own temper. We cannot say, I am speaking good. Why not accept? Well, because the other person is a conditioned soul. So we need to recognize that. As devotees, we have to be cautious that every word we say will either bring the person closer to Krishna, or that person will go so far away from Krishna that he will never come to Krishna again. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point in the purport. He says, giving good counsel to a foolish person will make that foolish person angry. So there is a famous verse which says, Jare dekho Krishna Upadesh, meaning wherever you see anybody, wherever you go, just talk about Krishna. Well, people take this literally without understanding the conditioning of other person. So first judge the other person in a brief manner. Now this is the progression that on day one, for example, all of us, when we started book distribution, I can tell you my example. I stood 4 steps back when they said distribute book. And later on, now we can judge who is ready, who is not ready to a certain extent. Not that I am an expert, but at least we can judge to a certain extent. Sometimes, I shouldn't say 100% of the times, but over a period of time, you can gauge somebody being ready. I'll discuss practical aspects here. I request all of you to, as usual, have undivided attention. So I'll give you scenario number 1. So in a temple atmosphere, some devotee is habituated to bad mouth somebody else. Whatever you are going to say to this devotee who is bad mouthing, this devotee will become angry. Don't you think so? So what is going to be your response? Please help me. Everybody try to explain that there is a bad mouthing devotee, and if you try to give advice, he is obviously going to become angry, like what we just read. So what is going to be your option here? Somebody please help me quickly. We have a lot to cover.
Refrain from advice.
Chandran Prabhu, go ahead.
Ignore about it and keep away from that scene.
Okay, very good. Very good. Hold your answer for a few more minutes. Okay, but a very good answer. So that is one option that I will ignore and I will avoid that. Okay, very good. Uncle?
Refrain from giving advice to him.
Okay, refrain. Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, somebody else? You are all preachers. Somebody help me. What will be your action?
Prabhu, I would try to point out the good qualities of whatever he's complaining about, or he or she. I would try to point out the good qualities of that person or scenario.
Yeah,
try to make them see the good.
Okay, you are giving advice. Okay. Okay, what do you think is going to happen? Okay. Somebody, what else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So go with what Chandran Prabhu said. Just listen intently and then leave it to Krishna and ignore.
Okay. Okay. Let me give you little advice or little answer here, not advice. Little answer here, and then I will muddy this scenario. So if you try to give advice directly or indirectly, he's not going to like it. Direct advice is, for example, what Nitya said, that ask the devotee to look at good qualities. Well, he's not going to like it because you're going to give him advice. The other option is you may suggest that instead of giving him advice, you may create a scenario of reading certain verses where this advice you want to give comes out, so that the devotee may realize by himself. So you may suggest, Prabhu, can you and me read together from some scriptures? What do you think will happen if you give that suggestion of reading scriptures with him?
His focus is diverted. He will calm down.
Okay, that is one option, that he's going to calm down. Okay, what else? What else will happen?
Devotee association.
Okay, so if you are asking the devotee to read, means you are giving advice, because one is giving direct advice and the other is the indirect way. So some devotee is bad mouthing, it is blasphemy, we all agree, and I do not want to deal with such a situation, or to remain quiet and leave the association of such other devotees. So in this scenario, you are a third person, meaning person A is bad mouthing person B and you are person C. Now let me muddy the scenario, and in scenario number 1, you will leave it is possible that for scenario number 1, you may still have anger which is lying in your heart. So we need to act in compassionate way. So let me give you scenario number 2, where I will muddy the situation. Now, this devotee from the temple, which is person A, is bad mouthing you. What will you do now? One option is, obviously you may leave, or you may not worry. But when you leave, what should be the approach? What is the Vaishnav etiquette? We all know that we have to act in a compassionate manner. So how are you going to show compassion when somebody is bad mouthing you? And I'll give you practical example for this from at least from the Toronto temple. Somebody now help me. I got silence.
I will say the Maha Mantra and leave the place.
Okay, so you leave the place. So where's the compassion? What happens? What happens in your heart? Are you carrying anger or not?
Of course, I am, because by again remaining and arguing with him, it will aggravate him.
Okay, what about you? Focus on yourself.
Tolerance.
I will also get aggravated.
Okay, Chandran Prabhu.
Tolerance is the thing which we learn.
Okay,
You must
tolerance.
tolerate.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna discuss this tolerance piece very soon. Okay, so let me answer. Nitya, go ahead.
Prabhu, try to, as you had told us, try to turn and find another devotee with good qualities. Try to move away from this and try to associate with someone else.
Yeah, you are correct that you are not looking at the bad quality of this devotee, but where is compassion for you against this devotee number A who is bad mouthing you? So you are correct in terms of your action, that you don't look at the bad quality of this devotee number A who is bad mouthing you, and you try to look around. Very good, very good response. But focus on yourself. You still have anger or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. How so? If you have anger, how are you going to show compassion to anybody? That's what Vidura is going to teach us here. Uncle?
I will tell him that you are upset, so I will again meet with you.
Yeah, what are you not giving advice?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
But
read the first line. Read the first line in the purport again. It's a very heavy line. Read verse number 14, first line. What is Prabhupada saying?
purport. It is said that giving good counsel to a foolish person causes the fool to become angry, just as feeding milk to a snake.
Yeah, so focus on yourself right now. You have anger if somebody is bad mouthing you, and the Vaishnava etiquette is that you should have compassion. Forget others right now. Focus on yourself. The study of scriptures is first to focus on myself rather than somebody else. Radha Shakti, last point, and then I will explain.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, what I can think that person is in the mood of external energy, and it's conditioned soul.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, very good point. That's exactly what we're going to discuss very soon. So let me answer. So if I criticize this bad mouthing devotee, I may also end up having that criticizing nature. That recall the 5-minute short lecture from Chaitanya Chandas, which was titled "What the faults we see in others tell us about us." Meaning, if I see the fault in others, then actually those faults are in me. They are just being manifested in a different way. So the answer is that first, I want to give the benefit of doubt to this bad mouthing devotee, and I want to be compassionate. So the question is, how to show compassion to the devotee who is criticizing me or who is bad mouthing me? The answer is, if you are giving advice to this devotee who is bad mouthing you, this is not a sign of compassion, because you are saying that you are superior. We need to assess how we can apply these things in practice. Instead of giving advice, another option of letting this devotee realize by himself is that what I already explained in scenario number 1, that wanting to read relevant scriptures with you and this devotee who is bad mouthing. Now, this reading is not necessarily acceptable to the devotee to begin with, who is criticizing. So that also may not work, or it's also an indirect advice also. So understand that the situation and all situations that we encounter, what we have to focus is what I can learn from the situation. Don't focus on others. First, focus on yourself to develop the compassion, if you want to develop the compassion approach. So how to show compassion to such a criticizing devotee? One answer is pray for him, so that the Lord can give him the right knowledge and the understanding. Pray to the Lord that out of ignorance, that this devotee is not realizing the offense. You have not taken the offense, even though you understand, but you still pray for the devotee. What are you praying for? That's very important. If you have compassionate nature, then bring the discussion to the higher authority when time is right to decide what the devotee is saying is correct or not. Now, this statement I will repeat, and this word "when time is right" is very important, and I will explain a practical situation. So I'll repeat this statement, that if you have compassionate nature, then bring the discussion to some higher authority who is higher than this devotee when time is right. This is very important, when time is right, so that to decide what the devotee is saying is correct or not. Again, this time is right is very important. that don't just climb on a horse to march to a higher authority as soon as this situation is happened. We discussed that reading with this devotee is not going to work. Hence, we should see if this devotee who is bad-mouthing, meaning devotee A in our examples, that if this devotee A can somehow come in contact with some senior Vaishnava so that this offending devotee might listen to, this is compassion, because we want the mercy of the Lord to be showered on this devotee. We are, at least I am not capable. Therefore, I can pray to make arrangement for higher authority to discuss or shower that higher authority to shower the mercy on this bad-mouthing devotee. So another important point is that when you are discussing with this higher authority, this is not a question of complaint. Otherwise, it is not compassion. We need to help this bad-mouthing devotee to come out of this challenging situation. Hence, some situation be brought to this devotee so that he comes in contact with a senior devotee, senior Vaishnava, or Lord makes some arrangement so that he is able to realize is what you should pray for, is what you should aspire for. This is compassion. You can only do this, meaning this praying, when you don't have anger in your heart. Important, we should not have any ill effect against this bad-mouthing devotee. That tomorrow, when he comes, we should be able to still work cooperatively. And this situation about bad-mouthing can actually also happen in family member situation where the family members, both spouses or multiple family members, are also devotees. So when family members are involved, the response will be slightly different and will vary according to the family situation. So we won't get into specifics for that. The one thing about family member that I will tell when the situation is among family members is that don't escalate to higher authority. When it's a third person or somebody, it's just a devotee, it's not just a devotee, it's a devotee, then you can use the option of escalating to a higher authority. But for family member, don't do that. And sometimes silence can also be a solution. That because of your silence, the other devotee can realize his mistake. So foolish becoming angry does not mean the foolish person has to be condemned. Hence, we have to learn how to give good counsel. I'll pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Let's do it quickly.
Prabhuji, as you covered for family situation, it happens we interact with human beings who are non-devotees also. Similar situation has happened. It is happening. So what do we do that?
Compassion is the barometer that you follow. Whether or not
Got it.
It's your family or not, understand you have to develop the spiritual qualities, and the situations that you are facing, use them in Krishna consciousness for your upliftment, for your test. You follow how you can be compassionate. And I explained, pray to the Lord. You can only pray to the Lord for the betterment of the other person who is bad-mouthing you or hurting you, only when you don't have anger, but you have compassion. So use this as an opportunity to use compassion, and this is going to be further discussion. It is not a standalone discussion. I'm just laying a foundation, and there is a lot more heavy discussion coming up. Radha Shakti, uncle, does that help you?
Thank you.
Radha Shakti.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when something like this happens to me, then I have this thing in my heart that we are all prisoners in this prison house and we cannot expect perfection from anyone. So everybody is trying to learn here, trying to improve themselves.
Very good attitude that we cannot be perfect. So understand that material world is by default imperfect. I have discussed this in our Bhagavad Gita study. I only discussed once, so possible that not everybody may remember. I have explained that if you try for perfection, that is one of the biggest illusion as well. Okay, very good, Radha Shakti. Okay, Prerna wanted to say something.
Yes, Prabhu, I just wanted to understand how silence can be a solution.
Yeah, silence can be a solution. It depends on circumstances, that when you are interacting with a devotee and you don't react as you were doing it before, it can happen. I'm not saying always. Depends on your relation with the devotee. It can also work that the devotee will realize. And this silence will generally work when the devotee doing something wrong is a junior to you. Somebody senior may not necessarily work. Generally, somebody junior who is getting advice from you or supposed to get advice from you, he may realize, well, I'm not hearing much. Maybe let me think whether I have done something wrong. Does that help you, Prerna?
Yes, Prabhu. While you were talking, I was also thinking, I don't know if I should say this. I was just wanted to add, yes, I mean, silence, but silence with a look of pure, sincere, genuine compassion probably can go some way in
very good.
resolving the
So
situation.
you should feel comfortable to discuss everything here. We are here to learn. So you are correct that silence does not mean that you will look at the devotee with a crooked eye.
Or anger or frustration.
Yeah, very good. Prerna brought a very good point that silence, you still need compassion. Silence is you are just using silence as a means to make the devotee realize by himself, but still you need compassion. Yeah, very good. Somebody else was wanting to speak.
Prabhu, with this discussion, you've laid the groundwork, but the three spiritual qualities I think that I come to realize is tolerance, compassion, and then of course silence. I think this is the groundwork that you've laid.
Very good. Yeah, very good understanding about groundwork, because the heavy discussion is yet to come. So I'll tell you about this, my personal situation about, I told you about when time is right. So one devotee from the temple has been bad-mouthing many other devotees as well as me also. And I have been tolerating, and I followed this when time is right, that bring this to a higher authority when time is right. And I told that when the situation happens, don't jump on a horse to march to this higher authority. Now this bad-mouthing devotee also goes on to get some power at the temple in terms of higher position, and goes on to impact me and other devotees in terms of my services. So I told you about when time is right, I did not react. I will tell you how long, and you judge that why I highlighted this time is right. So this bad-mouthing devotee has been doing this for many years. And when time is right, I stayed silent for more than 5+ years. Even though I have direct access to a higher authority who is higher than this bad-mouthing devotee, I have very close relations with this higher authority devotee who is higher than this bad-mouthing devotee. But I stayed silent unless the situation arose by itself. And even when the situation arose by itself, my first response to this higher authority was that from scriptures, I know that 1.18.48, where Parikshit Maharaj did not say anything when Shringi did anything wrong, or from Canto 1, Chapter 17, the perpetrator discussion that if I identify the perpetrator, then I become the perpetrator. So first the situation happened by itself. Then this higher authority who is above this bad-mouthing devotee asks me this question, and my first response was, scripture says I am not supposed to respond. Now you tell me what you want me to do. And this higher authority said, okay, I understand you are strong in scriptures, but I still want you to respond. That's when I responded. So I'm not trying to glorify myself. I'm just trying to give you a practical example. And the heavy discussion, if you think this is heavy discussion, just wait. Couple more verses, the heavy discussion is yet to come. I have only laid a foundation. Everybody clear on this? Time is right, that if you are compassionate, don't run, don't jump on a horse. Questions, comments, realizations?
You waited for 5 years. The time was right, you approached the higher authorities.
I did not.
And they gave the signal, even though the scripture says that you have to keep quiet, but they gave still the signal.
Yeah. So
if they had not given the signal, what you would have done?
Yeah, I would have not done anything. So even when I was speaking this, I actually became the perpetrator because I still spoke, but I did not create. And when you said that I went to the authority, I did not go to the higher authority. The situation arose where the higher authority came to me by himself. So that is point number one. And even though I did speak briefly, I did not go in significant detail. I only spoke in brief. I still became the perpetrator because I am not pure, because I am still in the learning environment, and I still have consequences from them. So the best is what Dharma is teaching us. So this is the highest goal. Dharma says don't talk about it at all, but I am not a pure devotee. So this point, that whether I am not a pure devotee or whether I am a pure devotee, is going to come up in the couple next verses. So don't act or don't presume that you are a pure devotee, rather deal with the situation. This is going to come up in couple more verses down the line. Everybody, uncle, does that help you?
Yes, please.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes,
Yes, true.
Okay. So Duryodhana's actual anger and Duryodhana's response to Vidura is in verse number 15. So Duryodhana uses very strong, harsh, insulting language towards Vidura. Kalyani, are you able to read verse number 15 translation?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. She isn't there. I would be reading on our behalf. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Or Aditi, or you, either way is fine.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu. Text 15. Who asked him to come here? This son of a kept mistress. He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Hare Krishna.
Pretty strong words that Duryodhana is saying. Dasi Putra. I mean, Vidura was like a king. but Vidura is being insulted badly. And if Duryodhana says, make Vidura leave only with his breath, means Vidura should not be allowed to take any of his belongings. So I request all of you to step into Vidura's shoes and tell me briefly, what will be your response when somebody like Duryodhana tells you, so right now you all are Vidura, you are king, of course you are Dasi Putra, no denying that, but you are king, you are the chief minister and very knowledgeable, and this Duryodhana is using these words in verse number 15, is calling the Vidura as this son of capped mistress. Pretty strong word, capped mistress. He is so crooked. He is spying on us for the interest of enemy against those who support him. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. All of you are Vidura right now. What will be your reaction, action? Please explain quickly.
We cannot advise a foolish person, and he is in anger, and there is no need for getting anger over this one.
Yeah, focus on your action. Yeah, focus on your action. You are correct that we already discussed not to give advice, but now the advice is given and this person has already become angry. What will be your action from this point on? We laid certain important factors that Nitya summarized.
Just leave the scene, Prabhu.
Okay, leave the scene. Okay, very good. What else?
Prabhu, just act out of compassion for the him.
Okay, what does that mean? How do you act out of compassion?
Just pray to the Lord, Prabhu.
Yeah, very good. Okay, very good. There's a very heavy discussion coming up on all these points. Okay, anybody else?
Prabhuji, if I would be Vidura, then I will leave the place and I will go out and cry.
Okay, okay, very good. Hold on your answer, couple more minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. For Vidura, the reaction of Duryodhana was not a surprise to him.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good point. So,
Vidura knows everything right from the beginning about Duryodhana. So, he said, okay, only Lord has to save everybody.
Yeah, very good. So
he left the place.
Yeah, very good points. And Vidura's response and his actions are in verse number 16. It's a very important verse and a very important and a very heavy purport. We'll spend a lot of time on this. That if you think our discussion so far was heavy, then wait till we discuss Vidura's response, because Vidura's response is heavier discussion than what we have discussed so far, not just today, but in our previous class also. Nitya, if you want to read verse number 16 translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Thus being pierced by the arrows through his ears and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme.
I have undivided attention as usual that Vidura was like a king. And when Vidura was treated very badly, Vidura was treated as if some inauspicious person. Hence, Duryodhana saying to Vidura that Vidura is not required in our house anymore. After hearing Duryodhana's very harsh, strong, insulting words, Vidura kept his bow and arrow on the doorstep of the palace and left. So Sridhar Swami, a prominent Acharya in disciplic succession, he comments that by Vidura putting his bow and arrow on the doorstep of Hastinapur palace means Vidura is saying that Vidura is not going to fight against Kauravas. Therefore, Vidura left the bow and arrow on the doorstep. So generally in the material world, if one person doesn't like the other person, means person one becomes the enemy of person two, then this person one goes and joins person three's army, and person three is anyway going to fight against person two. But this is not Vidura is doing. Vidura is saying, I'm going to put my bow and arrow right at the doorstep and signifying that I am not going to join the other side to fight against the Kauravas. Purport of verse number 16 is a very, very important and a very practical learning purport. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, we'll read this purport in bits and pieces in small chunks very soon. Srila Prabhupada says that pure devotee is not impacted by the activities of external energy. Some of you did point out that. Some of you did point about living. But the consciousness in which he is living is our discussion point today. So the purport explains that Maya acted both internally and externally. This is going to be one of your homework for today also, and is a very heavy discussion. We'll read the purport. Shalini, if you want to read the purport and have undivided attention on the purport. So I will ask you to pause. Let me first tell you where to pause.
Hare Krishna. A pure devotee of the Lord is never perturbed by an awkward position created by the external energy of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 3.7, it is stated, Prakriti kriya manani gune karvani sarvasa ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. A conditioned soul is absorbed in material existence and under the influence of different modes of external energy. Absorbed in false ego, he thinks that he is doing everything by himself. The external energy of the Lord, the material nature, is in full control of the Supreme Lord, and the conditioned soul is fully under the grip of this external energy. Therefore, the conditioned soul is fully under the control of the law of the Lord. But due to illusion only, he thinks himself independent in his activities. Duryodhan was acting under the influence of the external nature by which he would be vanquished at the ultimate end. He could not accept the sound advice of Vidura, but on the contrary, he insulted that great soul who was a well-wisher of his whole family. Vidura could understand this because he was a pure devotee of the Lord.
Okay, so we should not try to act as a pure devotee that artificially not getting affected by some criticism without being qualified as a pure devotee, because somehow or the other it will come back to affect my consciousness. Therefore, learn how to deal with the situation properly in a Vaishnava etiquette manner without being whimsical. So without being qualified means not being in a pure consciousness of a pure devotee. So there are two situations that can happen. One is either one is foolish or whimsical, therefore this foolish person is ignoring the criticism that is imparted. So if somebody is criticizing me, one situation is that either I am foolish, whimsical, therefore I am ignoring the criticism. The second is that this person who is being criticized, that he is a pure devotee, therefore he is able to tolerate the criticism. If we are not at pure consciousness, we should not leave such difficult situation, but deal it with proper Vaishnava etiquette. To the degree I can tolerate, I will tolerate. If I am not able to tolerate, then learn how to deal with the difficult situation. You cannot just say, oh, this is Maya. Oh, this Maya is very powerful external energy of the Lord, and I just have to learn to tolerate. No. If you are at pure devotee level, then it is not going to affect you. But if you are not at pure devotee level, then afterwards, this situation will create some issue. Hence, we need to learn how to deal with such situation so that anger is not building in my heart. Because if the issue remains suppressed in my consciousness, then later it will bring me to a situation where I will become more angry, or I will fight back, or I will end up bad-mouthing somebody else, meaning something or the other will happen. Therefore, it is important to understand the cause of the treatment being awarded to me, accept it from proper perspective, that how much can I learn? Let me learn. And if I need to do something about it, do it in a practical Vaishnava way. If necessary, so what's the practical Vaishnava way? If necessary, discuss with a senior devotee. Don't just sleep on these things. Speak to a senior. If you sleep on the issue, it will going to aggravate the problem. So some of you answered, I will just leave, or I will cry. Hey, understand you need to address the situation. We'll continue reading the purport shortly. I will briefly describe a couple more points. That the conditioned soul is fully under the control of external energy. As a pure devotee, Vidura could see that Duryodhan was, that what Duryodhan was doing was not good for Duryodhan himself under the influence of Maya. And simultaneously, as a pure devotee, Vidura could see that this kind of behavior is going to bring destruction to Duryodhan. And simultaneously, the actions of pure devotee, meaning actions by Vidura himself, are explained as we read through the rest of the purport, and I'll explain. So we'll continue reading. Gopal Prabhu, if you want to continue reading from where Shalini left off, it says, in spite of being strongly insulted by Duryodhan's words.
Hare Krishna.
I'll stop you when I need to.
In spite of being very strongly insulted by Duryodhana's words, Vidura could see that Duryodhana, under the influence of Maya, the external energy, was making progress on the path towards his own ruination. He therefore considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme, yet he also saw how the internal energy of the Lord helped him in that particular situation.
Okay, it's a very important statement. Vidura saw how the internal energy of the Lord helped him in this particular situation. So there are two things that Vidura is able to see how external energy is influencing Duryodhan, and at the same time, Vidura is also able to see how the internal energy is protecting Vidura. Means in Vidura's behavior, there is no trace of dejection. Means in Vidura's intention, there is no trace of ill feeling towards Duryodhan. Because Vidura knows what is best for him and what is going to be the result, how internal energy is going to help him. This is the compassion. There is no anger in the heart of Vidura. There is no ill feeling against Duryodhan, even though Duryodhan used so strong words. We'll continue reading, and I'll explain a little more about this very strong purport. Gopal Krishna, if you want to continue reading.
Hare Krishna. A devotee is always in a renounced temperament because the worldly attractions can never satisfy him. Vidura was never attracted by the royal palace of his brother. He was always ready to leave the palace and devote himself completely to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now he got the opportunity to grace by the grace of Duryodhana, and instead of being sorry at the strong words of insult, he thanked him from within because it gave him the chance to live alone in a holy place and fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. The word gata vyata, without being sorry, is significant here because Vidura was relieved from the tribulations from which trouble every man entangled in material activities. He therefore thought that there was no need to defend his brother with his bow because his brother was meant for ruination. Thus he left the palace before Duryodhana could act. Maya, the supreme energy of the Lord, acted here both internally and externally. Hare Krishna.
Okay, the last statement is very important. Maya, the supreme energy of the Lord, acted here both internally and externally. So it's a very important purport. And if you are able to see how you are under the influence of Yog Maya is internal energy, means you are not at all affected by the ill treatment that is awarded to you, in this case, Duryodhana ill-treating Vidura. And at the same time, you are able to see what is going to happen to this other person, meaning Duryodhana in the example. When you are able to see both these situations, meaning how external energy Maya is making materialistic person act in a manner which will destroy this materialistic person, as well as you are able to see how Yog Maya, the internal energy, is helping you, then you are a pure devotee. If you are seeing only one part, which of course is difficult to see, meaning if you are only seeing one part, that the influence of the external energy, that how the Lord is so powerful, and if you are not able to see the change that is brought to you under the influence of internal energy, then maybe you are not in the category of a pure devotee. So this is one measurement we all need to do for ourselves, whether I am a pure devotee or not. Yes, you are under internal energy, and at the same time, the other person is under external energy. Internal energy means no anger, no bad feeling, no bad mouthing. Everything is good. You are happy and you know what is your next destination. Meaning you don't feel anything. You don't feel sorry for yourself either, because you know exactly that the goodwill of the Lord for me is already thought of by the Lord through his internal Yog Maya energy. And you also know what I am going to do next. Meaning, Vidura is teaching us that just because someone is hurting me because this person is acting under external energy Maya, and if I also act or respond in negative way, then I am also similarly under this external Maya. Rather, I have to act under Yog Maya, internal energy, and act or respond in a positive way. Just last week, my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshikadas Adhikari, had sent a message to all his disciples. We have a WhatsApp group where Guru Maharaj sends messages regularly. That Guru Maharaj says that always have an alternative action plan ready as to where you can go, just in case if you are facing a potentially difficult situation. So Vidura, who is Dharmaraj, without the internal energy helping Vidura in this situation, otherwise Vidura would have had to fight against Krishna. And on the side of Adharmi, Duryodhan. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Pretty heavy discussion.
Vidura did not participate in Kurukshetra war. He neither wanted to support Kauravas or Pandavas. Am I right, Prabhuji?
So Vidura is neutral. Vidura is Dharmaraj. You are correct that Vidura did not participate in fighting the war, but he is neutral. That's what we have to understand.
Prabhu, just a realization you've clearly given in this discussion, and at the end of it, when you pointed out what qualities would make one realize which state of where they are, whether they're truly a pure devotee or not, and you gave those points, right? If you are absolutely not affected, you are feeling no anger, you're not feeling sorry for yourself, you're not bad-mouthing when you're faced with it, then that's your barometer saying, I'm there. I am really, not affected by this. But this was a good way to test ourselves where we are.
Yeah, very good, very good, very good understanding, very good summary. That yes, you need to be able to see both sides, that the external energy Maya is influencing this other materialistic person. Therefore, this materialistic person is acting in a way which is going to destroy this materialistic person. Simultaneously, you also have to see how internal energy is helping you. Then you will not have any anger. Then you will not have any ill effect from whatever is happening to you in the material world. Therefore, Prabhupada said in the very first line of the purport, verse number 16, a pure devotee of the Lord is never perturbed by an awkward position created by the external energy of the Lord. Pretty heavy statement. Okay, very good. Rest of you.
Prabhu, it just summarized for every dealing that we have, whether it is with the devotee, a non-devotee, a materialistic person, a family person. I just answered all the questions, Prabhu. I was just going to ask some follow-up, but it really answered all the questions.
Okay, very good. Very good hearing with rapt attention. Okay. Everybody on the same page? Do you think this was heavy discussion? Practical discussion?
Yes, Prabhu, very practical. Prabhu, I just had one, sort of follow-up. So, Prabhu, do you think Sthita Prajna also means the same thing, that happiness and distress, one is just supposed to be neutral, Prabhu?
Yeah, Sthita Prajna is pure devotee. Okay. Everybody, please speak with me. Any questions, comments, realizations before we read the last verse for today, where Vidura's actions are described? So some of you did answer that I will leave, but yes, you will leave, but in what consciousness you are leaving is very important to understand. Okay, and you have to realize that if you have compassion, then you don't have any anger or ill feeling against the other. Okay, and some of you said, well, I will go and cry. If you are going to cry, means what you heard or what somebody told you, you got impacted by that, meaning you are still at bodily concept. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So what Vidura is going to do next is in verse number 17. Uncle, you have a question or?
Yes. Vidura felt it was an opportunity for him by Duryodhana's temperament or actions or insult. Opportunity to leave the palace.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Vidura used this opportunity to his advantage, which is the last point I stated while finishing discussion number 16, and I'll repeat right now, that Vidura, who is Dharmaraj, who is a pure devotee, who is a Mahajan. There are only 12 Mahajans in the entire creation. Vidura is one of those Mahajans. So Vidura is Yamaraj himself. And without the internal energy helping Vidura, otherwise Vidura would have had to fight against Krishna. And on the side of Adharmi Duryodhan, when Vidura is Dharmaraj. Therefore, this definitely is something that Vidura saw as positive for himself. So you also can do the same in terms of see the positive, how the situations that we face, even though it is an awkward situation, how we can first learn. So that is very important point. If you are not a pure devotee, use the situation for yourself, what I can learn. And the second point is how to use the situation for the benefit, for your benefit, for your spiritual advancement. So in all this discussion, you realize that I focused on myself rather than focusing on somebody else. That's what we have to realize. That's what we have to do. Everybody on the same page? Uncle, does that help you?
Yes, please.
Okay, Uncle will read verse number 17, and I'm going to ask you one more important question. Is also little important learning that Vidura is going to teach us in verse number 17 also. Uncle?
Hare Krishna. By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of pious Kuruvas. After leaving Hastinapura, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a higher order of pious life, he traveled to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated. Purport.
Hold on. So in the verse, Sukadeva Goswami is making an interesting point that Kauravas had earned some piety. And the result of Kauravas' piety is why the Kauravas got Vidura in their family. Of course, Kauravas getting kingdom is also because of their piety. The verse focuses on Vidura, that because of Kauravas' piety, Kauravas got Vidura in their family. Meaning Vidura was the sign of auspiciousness. And this was because of Kauravas' piety. And immediately, Vidura left Hastinapur and started for pilgrimage. My next question, I request all of you to answer. So all of you, please take yourself back about 5,000 years when this incident has happened, when Krishna is physically present on earth during the Kurukshetra war. I mean, Krishna is always present. I don't have the eyes to see him, but at least during Kurukshetra war, we know that he is physically present and imparting Bhagavad Gita knowledge or many other knowledges. So my question for all of you will answer that you are Vidura, you are 5,000 years ago, where Krishna is also present physically on earth, where you can see Krishna face to face. If you have to go to a holy place when Krishna is present on earth, where will you go? I request all of you to please answer. Shalini, Gopal Krishna.
Prabhu is thinking, still thinking.
Okay. Everybody, please answer quickly. We only have a few more minutes.
I will go to Mainapur.
Okay.
Prabhu, we have to think like 5,000 years ago or now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm placing you in 5,000 years ago. Doesn't matter now. The answer won't be any different. But step 5,000 years back when Krishna is physically present, and you tell me where will you go for pilgrimage?
Vrindavan, Prabhuji.
Okay, Vrindavan. Okay, rest of you, please answer.
Dwarka, Prabhuji.
Okay, Dwarka. Okay, very good.
I'll search where Krishna's had gone. Search.
Okay,
Krishna.
where Mother Jija report, you will research what? Where Krishna's abode, you said?
Where Krishna is, I'll search for him. Prabhuji.
Where
I'll go
Krishna
there.
is, okay. Rest of you?
Dwarka,
Yeah.
where Krishna's birth.
Okay, Dwarka. Okay. So Nitya, repeat. Did you say, and what's your second part? Dwarka and then?
And to where Lord Krishna was born. Where,
Okay, so the places of birth. Okay. Okay.
Birth.
Rest of you?
Out where he is and then go.
Mother Chandranti, repeat please loudly.
Find out at present where he is and then go see him.
See whom?
Krishna.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, he is there everywhere.
Okay.
But because he is physically there, he is moving everywhere. So
Okay.
I'll find out where he is at that time. and then
Okay.
go see.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Rest of you, those who have not answered.
Dwarka, Prabhu.
Okay. So Dwarka. Okay. All the holy places we know. Okay. Rest of you who have not answered.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just feel that, he's descended on earth, so he's everywhere. So just go sit anywhere and meditate upon his form, Prabhu.
Okay. Meditate. Okay. That you can do anywhere. But my question is, if you have to go to pilgrimage, where will you go?
I would follow the Vrajvasis and go to Dwarka, Prabhu.
Okay. Vrajvasi. So Shalini's answer is a philosophical answer. Are you a pure devotee? Are you able to see Krishna everywhere?
No, Prabhu, I'm just imagining.
Okay, imagination. Okay, that's a problem. So, if you have to go to pilgrimage,
Prabhuji, I want to make a statement if you will permit me.
yeah, Shalini,
Lord Krishna's
Hold on.
plenary expansion.
Hold on, uncle. Let Shalini finish first. Shalini.
Yeah, Prabhu. It's, I'm imagining being at that time. No, I think it's wherever Krishna is to go there, Prabhu.
Okay, uncle, go ahead now.
I believe by virtue of plenary expansion, Lord Krishna is everywhere. So any pilgrimage center, I will go where Krishna is there. I will see Krishna there.
Okay,
That
very
is
good.
my feeling.
Okay, very good. So let's see what Vidura is doing. This is an important learning that Vidura is teaching us. So Vidura thinking that this is good for me, that I can go to pilgrimage, holy places, where I will perform austerities, good rituals, and in that way, I will earn some piety, because right now I am surviving with Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. Hence, Vidura, I am definitely not very pure. Therefore, let me become more purified by visiting holy places. In the purport, Prabhupada explains that Vidura considered himself less pious, and therefore Vidura decided to travel to all the great places of pilgrimage in the world in order to achieve greater piety, so that Vidura could advance nearer to the Lord. Now, Vidura went to pilgrimage at other places when Krishna is already physically present, why not go directly to Krishna? Won't you get directly purified and quickly purified? Instead, why did Vidura go to holy places of pilgrimage? If you go directly to Krishna, then you will be free from sin, and Vidura is anyway a pure devotee. Then why did Vidura visit holy places instead of directly going to Krishna? The answer is, this is the humble nature of a pure devotee. That devotee never thinks that I can reach out to the Lord whenever I want. Rather, devotee tries to serve the Lord nicely. Vidura considered himself not pious. Hence, Vidura first wants to build piety by hearing from pure devotee at holy places. Vidura says, I am not pure to be able to go in front of Krishna. Therefore, I first need to go to holy places, build some piety, because my piety has dwindled in the association of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. Let me build some piety for myself and cleanse myself. How? By hearing from pure devotees at this holy places of pilgrimage. Questions, comments, realizations? Do you see the nature of Vidura, who's a real pure devotee?
Yes, Prabhu. He humbly felt he wasn't qualified, to directly approach the Lord. So, yes.
Yeah, very good. Any questions?
Yes, Prabhu.
Very good.
I feel, if person like Vidura felt that way, then I find I am arrogant.
Okay.
Too.
Okay, very good realization.
That is painful. It is painful.
Yeah, very good realization. So when Bhagavatam words pierce you and you find it painful, that is a very good sign. That means the knots that are knotted in your heart, they are breaking apart. Okay, very good sign. And this breaking of the knots will only happen when you hear Bhagavatam with rapt attention. So very good hearing with rapt attention. Everybody on the same page before I give you homework, very important homework. Yeah, let me give you homework. First homework question. Explain how Maya acted internally and externally. Comes from verse number 16. The second homework question is a practical exercise that you all will be doing collectively or in groups. Shalini is going, those from batch number 3 who are not, or those who all others present here also are not in that Srimad Bhagavatam offline WhatsApp group where you discuss and allocate the presentation that you're going to do or other offline discussion. So Shalini is going to temporarily add you in that separate Srimad Bhagavatam WhatsApp group. The homework question is, for Canto 3, Chapter 1, verses 17 to 24 are the verses on Vidura's travel to pilgrimage. First question from this, second question is lessons learned from Vidura's visit to pilgrimage. And the second question from this second question is practical mood of Vidura in visiting holy places, how to apply that mood for all of us. So you will work in small groups offline, and at the next class You will share your personal application from these verses and or preaching application from these verses. So all of you will be preparing verses 17 to 24 and Shalini is going to assign verses that you are going to present. If you are planned to not being physically present at the next class, then you can record or you can send a message. Either way, it's going to be very short. It's only going to be 1 or 2 minutes talking. So let me repeat this question number 2 again, because I laid a foundation, and then let me know if something is not clear. So question number 2 is verses 17 to 24 are verses on Vidura's travel to pilgrimage. Homework question 2A. Lessons learned from Vidura's visit to pilgrimage. Homework question 2B. Practical mood of Vidura in visiting holy places, how to apply that mood. At the next class, you will share, one is personal application and or preaching application from these verses. Everybody on the same page? Somebody wants to repeat the homework question?
Yes, Prabhu, I can try.
Yeah.
So first question number 1 was how Maya acted externally and internally, verse 16. The second question is focused on Canto 3, chapter verses 17 to 24, which highlights Vidura's travel to holy places. So question 2A, what are the lessons learned from his visit to his pilgrimage, places of pilgrimage? And 2B is the practical mood of Vidura when he visited these places. So how are we to apply this mood to ourselves, either personal application or how we will apply it in our preaching of the scriptures?
Okay, very good. Very good. Very good repetition of the homework question. So many from other batches have traveled to holy places, and I have described them in terms of do's and don'ts. And many from this batch who are present here, I have explained how to make your travel as bhakti yoga. So some points may come from this, and many of you who have discussed with me this point may recall some conversations on those points also. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations before we stop? So you have multiple options here and you can choose and discuss among yourselves. So we are going to choose that Shalini is going to assign verses to few of you. And I see at least Ramya and Subro Prabhu are not present here. They will probably hear the class recording. So Shalini can also get them on the offline Srimad Bhagavatam WhatsApp group. And maybe, yeah, Sumi as well as Anish. So there are 4 devotees not physically present in our class. Shalini can please take a note. Ramya, Anish, Subro, Sumi, and 5th is Kalyani also. Kalyani, I think, might already be there in the group.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just a quick question. So I add all these devotees and then assign Prabhu?
Yeah, you can assign. So this is what we are going to choose. But if you want to all collectively discuss together, which could be a challenge in terms of finding time, a common time for all, because we are in physically located in multiple countries. So I would suggest that let Shalini assign you verses. It's not that one verse is hard or difficult. They are all similar verses. It's just
That is good, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So it's just in alphabetical order. Shalini will assign, and some of you will still be in pairs because there are 8 verses and you are about 14 or 14, 15 of you. So some of you will get dual verses, and those of you get two or three of you who get one verse can discuss among yourselves. You can offline connect with each other. Shalini, does that clarify? And everybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Mother Chandra aunty has a question. Uncle has a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
A little louder.
No, it's clear, Prabhu.
Okay. Are we okay to stop here, please?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, everybody.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.